How on earth did I end up on the Great Wall of China, all on my own in Beijing? I'll talk about that in a minute, but one thing I do know for sure, I don't want to ever be in that position again. Travelling the world on my own seemed like a lovely idea, but was it really? This is how it all began. I worked for the same company from the age of 16 until I was 47, so I did 31 years. And then my role was made redundant in 2013, and I'd experienced that a couple of times over the years because that's what happens in organisations. But on this occasion I decided to get out of the rat race and do something completely different. It was time. The company had become a little bit, well, quite a lot political, and I'm not very good in political situations, because if I have beliefs, I'm going to share those beliefs. I'm not just going to say what people want me to say, and so I didn't really fit there anymore. And I'd always wanted to live in America. I sold up and I got myself a 10-year visa, which enabled me to have 6 months a year in America, and I had no idea what I was going to do when I went. As with most things I do, it didn't work out as I planned, because I fell in love with Sarasota and decided to buy a home there. Not to live there for 10 years, of course, because that wasn't allowed. So instead, to spend 6 months a year there, and then the other 6 months every year to do something different and probably travel elsewhere in the world or go back to England. It seemed like a good idea at the time, but was it really? My journey has been full of challenges and fantastic, positives as well, but it hasn't all been smooth sailing, so I'll share some of that. Because the reason for it is to share my experiences on this channel. And how I've made some of the decisions I've made. I had my own business for a couple of years, and things I've wanted to do, and because I'm far from wealthy and never have been, but I always managed to make it work, and I think part of it is my approach to life, and my frequency or vibration, whatever you want to call it. Then there was a situation where I had to make a decision. In 2016 I had to leave the country for a few weeks, and I went to China. I went to stay with a friend who I used to work with. He'd moved with his career over there, and he kept saying, come and visit me in China, and I thought, oh, why don't I? I've got to go somewhere. And I knew I would be going back to the UK, so I thought, oh, I'll go to China. So I flew to Hong Kong and met him and his girlfriend in Hong Kong, and then went over to his place in China and stayed with him for, I think, 2 or 3 weeks. And he was working, but that was okay. I hadn't met anybody. China's not really, well, I didn't find it the kind of place to meet people. So I decided to go to Beijing for a few days and see all the sights. I was on the Great Wall of China taking a selfie, and I thought, what am I doing? I thought, I'm not doing this anymore. I can't speak for other people, but I know that I found land travel really lonely. And it wasn't just China, I'd found it in other places as well. Then there was COVID, of course, so and I was there, so I would apply to extend my stay because I didn't want to come back and travel, and it wasn't a good time. Lots of people weren't travelling. But then in 2022, it was time to leave. I'd been there a long time. I think at that point I hadn't left for about 5 years. I hadn't come back to the UK, so I left for 6 months, and I came back to the UK and I started travelling. And in 2022 and 2023 actually, I started cruising, and I cruised the world. Well, I'd always been a cruiser. I'd cruised a few times before, but I think I took 38 cruises in 2 years, which was fantastic, and met lots of people, which was really nice. Now, cruising is very different, and that's why I took all those cruises, because cruising on your own is brilliant, and you do meet lots of people, and you meet lots of other solo travellers. If you want to, of course. It's also just as easy to have your own company if that's what you enjoy, which I often do. Now, this is more like it for me. I'm on the Norwegian Star cruise ship, and we're just leaving Cari in Iceland. And we're sailing now, and tomorrow I believe we're in Isafjordur. This is my idea of solo travel. I know it doesn't suit everybody, but it really suits me. solo travel on land, I just don't get to talk to that many people. And even though sometimes on a cruise ship I don't talk to a lot of people, obviously I do the crew, but there's lots of things going on I can just observe and watch and enjoy whilst I'm eating, or if I want company I can have it. But more often than not I don't, but I never feel lonely in the way that I did on land. I can remember vividly, you know, the journey I've been on, so that's what I'm going to share, and how I became resourceful sometimes to make things work that I wanted to do. Thanks very much for being here, and I look forward to journeying with you wherever this takes us. I'm Cari, and this is Flip Flops and Cowboy Boots.